Hey guys, so I just finished doing a manual swap which involved removing the intake manifold, guys. So in today's video, I'm gonna show you how to put an intake manifold on properly. I'm gonna show you where all the connections and all the vacuums go in case you didn't label yours, guys. And this is a BMW E36. This is a 1997 328i. With the 2.8 liter, but this should be very, very similar, almost the same on all of them, guys. So let's get started right away, everybody. Okay, guys, so the first thing you want to do is you just want to make sure that this thing here is in nicely like it is on ours. See, it's got to be in all the way, not sticking out. If this ever pops out on you, or this gasket, we'll call it, is no good, your car will not run good. And also, you should just replace this thing. These are about 30-40 bucks, and they come with the two hoses. I actually took this one apart and cleaned it. I'm happy with it. There's a diaphragm in there. It's not broken, so I'm just reusing this. But I'll put a link in the description to a new one of these. Anyways, so just got to make sure that's also in nice right there, which it is, guys. Okay, so next what we're gonna do is right here on the engine, right? So there's the front. So right here on the engine, guys, we're gonna clean all this here. See, it's pretty gunky looking. So the way you clean that is you're going to grab yourself a nice brand new razor blade like this, and you're gonna start scraping that. Okay, so what you gotta do is you grab your razor, right? Obviously, you're trying not to get stuff in there, so you wouldn't scrape it this direction into the hole. You're scraping away from the hole, right? Don't worry if a little bit falls in there. I'll show you how to get it out after, because you're gonna have to regardless. So I'm gonna go around, see, and this is what you're doing. With a nice, clean, brand new razor blade. Up here, you're gonna go to one side, and then you're gonna go to the other side. So this is what you gotta do to make this nice and tight. Okay, so I'm gonna clean this whole thing right now, and I'll show you when it's ready. Okay, so there you go. That looks pretty good, right? Nothing wrong with that. So now you grab 320 grit sandpaper, and I mean, you should be doing this on a block, but all these are in here. And we're just gonna lightly just go around like this, just around each one. Just to smooth it out. Like that's literally all we're doing. See, just like that, and then up here, very lightly. Okay, so I'm gonna do that to this whole thing, and I'll get right back to you. All right, got that looking beautiful. So you grab an air compressor, careful, because whatever shoots out will shoot right in your face. You don't wanna get some in your eyes. And you're just gonna spray in there, right? So anyways, you do that to everything, get all the dust out. Okay, I'll show you what's next. Okay, so that's all done now. So now we just grab a rag and we just clean this, get all the dust off, anything that's on there. Okay, I'm gonna go around, clean this whole thing with a rag, and then we're done with that part. Okay, so that is looking perfect. That's what you want that like. Next, guys, we got some nice new gaskets. So you do need two of these. I got these at germanparts.ca, guys. Great place. See, so you need two of these. So I got one, and I did get another one. So those, right on the intake manifold here, you probably could get away with like reusing these if you had to, but I mean, this car is old and these are kind of hard. So I'm changing these. So anyways, so I'm gonna pull these out, give this a wipe, and put the new ones in. So off camera, I'll do that. And like I said, there's two of them. So this is one, and the other one will be the other one. Yeah, just like that. Okay, so we got these in, we just pushed them in, it was super simple. So keep in mind that this whole contraption is upside down right now. So there's three hoses coming out of it. Two basically vacuum hoses. So there's one, see right here. I just have a piece of tape on it that says up. So there's one there that comes out. Then right basically next to it is like a thicker one, right? And then there's a vacuum hose right there. See, there's the three. 1, 2, and then 3. So this one here, in behind this one, I'll show you where that connects. So on the car here, right? Right over here, see there's one that comes up. That's why I put up on it. See? This one. It's like, it goes to like a plastic line. So that runs all the way, see, with all those wires. So when you move this, you can see it, see? So that one there connects to this one here. See, I'm gonna take this off. See, it looks like that. Right there in behind this bigger one. And then there's one small one by itself, see? On the side of it. I hope I'm showing you guys this good. So I'll show you where that one goes later. But right now, we're focusing on this one, so we know where this one goes. Okay, we're gonna attempt to put this thing on. So there's two brackets that need to go on. Let me show you. Okay, so here's the two brackets. They're a little bit different from each other, right? So this bracket goes, see right down there, there's like a nut sticking out or a bolt sticking out. See, just like that. So that one goes there like that. So you're not gonna like tighten it up and everything, because then you'll never get this together. But that's where that's gonna go. You're gonna have to play all this against each other as you're putting it together. And then this bracket, right? This one goes on this side, see? Right there. On that side, right? It'll go like that. Okay, so I'm gonna get this whole contraption onto there. Okay, I mean, this part is kind of hard to record, but we're just gonna try to put this in here. And then, you know, once I got it in here, I'm gonna try to show you guys what goes where, I guess. So, okay, I'm gonna off camera try to like basically fit this in here. Okay, so here it is. I mean, I can easily get it on now, but then I can't plug things in because I can't get this stuff. So let's start plugging things in. I will try to show you guys what goes where. So on the back of this guy, right, or this thing, sorry. So there's a plug back here. See right here. See, I even wrote on the back plug. So we're gonna take the sticker off. Anything you plug in, you remove the sticker, right? So it looks like this, right? And that plugs in to the back of this thing, right? Nothing to it, just plugs in. So that's number one. Okay, let me just plug this in here. Okay, so that's one thing done. Okay, let me show you what's next. So right over here, see, there is a plug. You see it? There it is. Right there. So we got to plug that in. So there is a wire that plugs into it. See? That's what it looks like. It's got two wires going into it. So that plugs in right there. See it? Okay, so I'm going to plug this in, guys. Right now off camera. All right, so I got that plugged in. Let me just quickly show you. See, there it is. Kind of got it running on the outside of this metal thing. So next, guys, remember that vacuum that I showed you guys originally that set up on it? Right there. So that's this one. So what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna plug that in, right? It kind of goes behind there. But see, this kind of just sticks up here, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna put this whole intake manifold in, and as I got it like closer to these things here, I'm gonna plug that in. And that should be everything under there for now. I mean, I didn't unplug anything else to get it off. Okay, so I'm gonna do that right now. All right, so I got the manifold on. It's still loose, but it's sitting where it's supposed to be. So now what you can do is like that vacuum that I just showed you. So you can get your hand in there and you can grab it and you can plug it in, right? It's right over here. Like, remember there was two vacuums. So it's not this one, right? There's one here, which I will show you where to hook up in a bit. Then there's this bigger one. So it's directly in behind the bigger one from this side, right? So there's that, it's literally behind it. So I'm gonna get my hand in there and plug it in. So that's what I'm doing now. Okay, so we got the manifold sitting in its place, but it's still loose, right? So now, okay, let's get in here. So there is a vacuum hose, right? Let me just show you. So right, the one we hooked up is in behind this bigger one. And then right beside the bigger one, see, let me just show you underneath here. It's kind of behind it. It's beside it and a little bit more back. See that one? So anyways, so it looks like from here. See, it looks like it's beside it on the left. So anyways, this one connects to, see how down here we have this like tank. I believe this is for the exhaust in the back. It closes a valve and opens it. So see this exhaust tank thing? It's like a plastic barrel looking thing. So anyways, on the front of it, there's an exhaust that, or a pipe that comes out. See, and then there's a T on it, right? So we're gonna take this off. So that T connects to, so it goes to a T first, right? So then this will connect into that T. Okay, so I'm gonna hook that up and then I'll show you where it goes after that. All right, so I got the that T plugged in, like I said, see? So it goes into the T and then it runs along and it goes all the way to this check valve. See, there's a check valve. So the way this check valve goes, the black side goes towards the T and the white side goes, it keeps going, it ends up going to this thing here. See? Which we will hook this up later. We'll leave it at this for now. So it goes to this white check valve, then to this thing, which something will plug into. That is gonna go, I believe, over here somewhere. Or maybe there, I can't remember. I will get to that after, but yeah, it goes over there. Okay, so back to this barrel thing that I was talking about earlier, see? Remember how the front of it hooks up to the T? So there's a vacuum on the back of it that plugs in. So that vacuum runs along, and once the dipstick is back in, so it kind of attaches to the dipstick because you don't want it rubbing against your steering stuff here. So, you know, you attach it out of the way, and that runs all the way to over here. See, it goes in underneath your fuse box. So that's where that one goes. See, you're getting there, guys. You're getting all these vacuums connected. If you miss one vacuum on this car, it will run like crap. Both these cars and my parts car that I got the transmission out of ran like complete crap, both of them, because they both have vacuum problems. Because on the black one, somebody changed the clutch, and when they put the manifold back in, they missed vacuums, didn't hook things up. The car never went back on the road. And this one, I mean, one of the reasons why I got it super cheap is because it ran like absolute crap. Same problem it had. I changed all the vacuums earlier, got it running good. So pay really, really close attention when putting all this back together. It's so important. You can't have any vacuum leaks and you can't miss nothing. Okay, let's get back to it. All right, next we're gonna put these two brackets on. So that's how they go on. So I showed you earlier where they go. One goes there, one goes there. These are impossible to get on if this is like fully screwed in. So we got it loose. So we'll be able to lift it, move it around, and get these in. So off camera, I'm gonna put these in. The bigger holes go at the bottom, the smaller holes go on top. So they go in like this, and this sideways one, same thing, see? Goes on like that. Okay, there's no way I can record this, so I'm just gonna put these on, guys. Okay, so I'm putting these brackets on, and I mean, this is what I had to do to get them on. So I had to take this back off. Everything is still plugged in except for this one popped out. So I'll have to get this one back in. See, like that's the kind of stuff you gotta watch for. So this bracket, I had to, like I got the screw attached at the bottom or the nut, but I got it loose. So now that is gonna fit over top of this thing, right? Because you're trying to get it in there. So I'm gonna do this off camera, but that's how you gotta get it in. So I'm gonna guide that. This one was easy to put in. I could even put this one in later. So I gotta guide that in. Okay, I'm gonna do that now. Okay, I got it back on. So now basically there's just two little bolts like this, right? And we're just gonna attach these up there, right? There's a spot there, and see this one goes right here. You're not gonna tighten these. You're just gonna put it in, do like 2 turns, and that's it. You're gonna tighten those brackets way later when all this is fully tightened. Okay, so I'm gonna attach the brackets now. Okay, so next, what we're gonna do, guys, is we're gonna put this on, right? So I got a new gasket for this. So you pull the old one out. You can reuse it if you have to. Anyways, I'll get that off camera. So that goes on like that, right? But then there's like this part that goes over top of it. See? You got these fairly long screws. See? That's how that goes. Those two are gonna be for another piece. So that's how that goes on. One thing I gotta mention though is one of these hoses, so not this hose, but this one, see, it runs down, and then there's like a cutout on this like metal bracket. See? It's hard to see. I know. See, so you have to stick it in to that cutout. Get it? So that's what I did. And then this will go on nicely, right? Just to start getting things out of the way here. So, right, so that hose that goes through the cutout, see, it just goes over here. Yeah, see, that's it right there. That's it. It goes around the back of this, comes out the cutout, and then it goes, yeah, to this side. And then this one just goes to there. I never unhooked this. I just took it off. Okay, I'm gonna put this on that. Okay, so we got this thing on. It's just finger tight for now. Everything's just finger tight for now. So next what we're gonna do is this intake manifold, we're gonna put all those bolts on. I put anti-seize on all of them, or nuts I mean. So we're gonna put all of these on, and from the inside out, we're gonna slowly go around tightening them from the inside out, kind of like a head gasket, right? Here are the torque specs, guys. So right here it says intake manifold nuts. So that's what we're working with. So here's the size of your nuts. Here are the torque specs. So 16 foot-pounds is the most. I mean, you know, it's not like this is a head gasket. You just got to snug them up without breaking them. So there it is. If you're these are inch pounds, so these are like less than this. I'm sure you guys know that though. So there it is. Okay, so I'm gonna off camera tighten all those up right now. Okay, the intake manifold is attached just the way it's supposed to be. So now these brackets here, guys. So what you want to do is you don't want to just start tightening these. Because those brackets are there in case somebody pushes on this so it doesn't break anything, or if somebody tries pulling on this up. So what you gotta do now is you gotta basically like put these where they gotta be. See, like that. And once you got them in the right place, then you tighten those bolts. Get it? You don't just start tightening, because then you don't want this to be getting pulled down. You get what I'm saying? Okay, so I'm gonna put this bracket on, or tighten it, both bolts, and the other one, nuts I mean. Okay, that's what I'm doing now. Okay, both the brackets are on, nice and tight there and there, there and there. So next, guys, we're gonna tighten this thing up. So there's 4 bolts, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're gonna make this nice and snug. We're gonna attach the brake booster. See, that goes there. Also, there is a plug. See, I marked it. So we're gonna put this plug. See, it just comes from under here. So we're gonna plug that in. So that's 1. Tighten this 2. Put this on 3. So let me do that. It's a process of elimination. Eventually, there'll be nothing left. Okay, all that stuff is done, as we talked about, looking pretty good. Okay, so next, guys, so this can be in different locations depending on your year, but the part's the same, it's just different locations. Anyways, so this thing, there's 3 things that go into it. So I'm just gonna put it over here for now, right? So we got this thing, plugs in on the side, not that. So that's 1. This goes on top of it. And then there's this hose that goes into it as well. So I'm going to hook the 3 up so this hose just kind of goes. That's the one that went into this. Remember, there was like 3 hoses on the bottom. So that one goes in the bottom of this thing. Okay, I'm going to hook all these up. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so there it is, as you can see, right? I mean, once you start putting, like I put Vaseline on this to get this in so it slide in. See, the thing is, once you start plugging everything in, so we got 1, 2, 3, right? You kind of start to realize where things are supposed to be, right? So then we have this type of bracket. And like I said, this is located in a different spot on some cars, but in our case, it's right here. So now this, see, it will just go, remember that bracket we put on earlier? So that bolt there, basically this is gonna go on like so, right? Like we're gonna take that screw out, put that in, and then this will slide in right there, like so. Pretty straightforward, like into that hole, and then this will be nicely attached. Okay, I'm gonna do that right now. Okay, so there it is. Just wanted to show you how that sits there, see? Very, very nice, guys. Okay, the next thing is super duper important, guys. This is a very common problem on these BMWs, guys. So the dipstick. This is the dipstick tube for like checking your oil, right? So this is what ends up happening, right? Okay, first of all, let me show you. There's two problems with these that happen. Okay, so there it is, right? So problem number one, this O-ring that sits right here, right, gets kind of shrinks and gets hard, and then what happens is you end up developing an oil leak on this O-ring. So like this will all make sense to you once I show you, but so we're gonna be replacing this O-ring. That's problem number one. Let me show you on the motor where it leaks. Okay, so there's your motor, right? So I just put in a paper towel in here for now because I didn't want crap falling in there, but now it is time to pull it out, right? I apologize for the focus. Anyways, let's pull this out. I'll get a better angle of it for you guys. So that's where the dipstick goes, right? So there it is. Here's a better angle of it, right? So it ends up leaking oil, and then there's oil all over. Basically, like, you're wondering where it's leaking out of. Well, that's the spot that it's leaking out of. So when I took it out, like a whole bunch of sand and crap fell into the motor oil. So before we start the car, we're gonna have to drain all the oil, put new oil in. So you're gonna clean that nicely with a rag all around inside, right? And then you're gonna put a nice, fresh, brand new O-ring, which we have here from the same place, germanparts.ca, great place. Anyways, so got a new one. So that's problem number one, guys. But there is a second problem. Remember I said there was two problems. And the second one is way more serious. So the dipstick sits in the motor like this, right? And this part here has a hose that goes from this to the crankcase vent valve, guys, which looks like this. Check it out. See, there it is. I showed it to you guys earlier. I cleaned it. So those get all gunked up, right? So it goes to that. And then from that, see, there it is right there. So from that thing, right, there it is. There's a hose like this. So it plugs in, right? And then it goes on top here, right? So what ends up happening is all this stuff gets super gunked up to the point where like nothing's even flowing through it. That's what happened on this car, actually. I like cleaned all these and stuff. I should have just replaced them, but I just didn't want to wait. So I took this whole thing apart, I cleaned all the crap out of it. I'll probably end up changing it in the future, but everything's good now. Like, you know, air flows through this and small amounts of engine oil even. And they go into this thing and they flow through that. And then at the bottom, there's a tube or a hose, right, that connects to the bottom of that thing. And then it connects into here on the dipstick, right? And then at the dipstick, see, it goes down and it goes right in where your motor oil is. Well, what happens on these guys, see, you would think that this goes like into this, right? And then it comes out right here. Well, it actually doesn't. See how there's like this like small little space here? Not the big round hole, but this space. So this actually connects just to this outside space, right? And what happens is these get all gunked up like all around here, and then all this like thing stops working because it can't go down into the dipstick and it back into like your motor oil because this is all gunked up here. and it's basically like, it's like you putting a cap on this, right? So then it just gets even worse. Like this whole thing, that hose and that thing just get completely gunked up, guys, like you wouldn't believe. And none of that stuff works, right? So what you got to do is like, you have to either get a new dipstick tube, or like what I did is I sprayed brake cleaner in there, and I sprayed brake cleaner in there, and I even took like a metal wire like this and I poked it through, and I got it flowing. And now when I spray brake cleaner in there, check it out. See, watch, when I spray it in here now, see, it comes right out the bottom. Before it wasn't, it was completely clogged. So I fixed this thing, it's good now. Okay, so putting it in is pretty straightforward. So make sure you check for that, guys. When you blow in here with like your mouth, let's say, if it's all clean, you should be able to blow through this no problem whatsoever. Like I said, not through the big round hole, but through this little side hole. So you should be able to put your thumb like this on it, and air should still come out on the side here. If it doesn't, yours is clogged. You have to unclog it. Have to. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna put a nice brand new O-ring on here, just like that. And we're gonna put Vaseline on it, just a little bit. So when we put it into the hole, it's gonna slide right in nice. So I'll put some Vaseline on it, and then we're gonna go clean that hole out one more time with a rag, make it nice, and then put this in. Okay guys, the hole is nice and clean, as you can see. Basically just stick that in there, and then see there's like a little part here with a bolt. Anyways, I'm just gonna put it on and show you guys. So once you got this Vaselined up, she'll just slide right in. Okay guys, so I got the dipstick in there, right? And I was having a really hard time getting it in. So what I got is just an extension with one of these on it, right? And what you do is you put it on like so, right? And then you get a hammer, hold it nice, give it a couple good whacks, and it popped right in with the O-ring. It's really hard to see, sorry guys, apologize. Yeah, there it is. So it went right in. Everything's looking good. Okay, so the dipstick is all the way in. It's in there nice. I apologize if it's not focusing. Went all the way into the bottom. So now we just get a bolt, right? And we attach the dipstick right there with a bolt. So I'm gonna do that. See, there it is. Okay, I'm gonna attach that. All right, so the dipstick is attached. See, there's the bolt. It's solid, not going nowhere, very, very good. Okay, the next thing we need to do here is, so at the bottom of the dipstick, remember that tube that we were just cleaning, right? So that thing there it is, see it? Right there. So to that, we need to attach this here hose, guys. So we're gonna attach this hose to the dipstick tube, and then the other side of it goes to that crankcase vent valve, see right there. So not to that hole, like see there it is, but at the bottom of it, there's a little tube that comes out, and it literally faces that dipstick part. That's, yeah, the dipstick tube where the two connect. You can't miss it. I can't really show it on camera, but yeah, see the bottom of that thing. So I'm gonna put that hose in, guys, right now. All right, so there it is. See, that's the bottom of the dipstick. That just goes to that thing that we talked about. There's no way I can record in there, so I'm not gonna try to. Okay, now we're gonna get to the vacuum hose again. So remember this one, right? That went to a T. We took care of that earlier. So we got right to this thing, to this check valve, right? So next, it goes into this type of switch looking thing, right? I don't know what it is right now because I haven't read up about it yet. But anyways, it connects into this, right? There's a plug on it, and I'll show you where that goes, right? And then there's another vacuum that comes out of it. See, so this goes into the bottom of this thing, and then the one that comes out on the side, I'll show you where that goes later. So we're gonna be putting the fuel rail on soon, which is this thing here, right? So that goes like right here. Once we get that on, we're gonna take this thing, see, and it goes, I believe it goes on top of the fuel rail. I will get to that. See, and it goes in here like this. See, with the plug up. And it's gonna sit like that, right? So that's where that thing goes, in case you messed up and don't know where yours goes. Okay, now this thing, right, it travels over here and it goes, okay, so it goes, I got this figured out. So it goes from the side of this, right? Underneath this thing, there's like a metal tube, right? So it connects into a metal hose, and that hose comes out, a metal line. Comes out right over here, see? Just underneath it. Comes out underneath, right? You just follow it. And it goes there, right? And then it goes into this thing on the side, which is right there. Okay, so no big deal there, and obviously that's gonna be there on yours just that way, so you know where that goes, right? Okay, so what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna put the fuel rail on. In order to get this on, I gotta change one injector because mine had a broken plastic piece at the end. So I'm gonna get it out of my parts car, but I'm not gonna cover that. I'm just gonna put that in, and I'm gonna put new O-rings on all of these. Not the top part of the O-ring because I'm not pulling them out, but the one that I pulled out, I'm gonna put an O-ring on top, a new one, and then an O-ring at the bottom, all new ones for all of them, right? But we're gonna clean this really, really good with some Varsol, get all this crap off of it. And then see, there's the O-ring. We're gonna, not this one, this rubber one. We're gonna pull it off and get a new one on here. But first we're gonna clean all these. So in your case, you could have done all this without removing the fuel rail, but I had to take mine out because I had to change one of my injectors. But I'm not gonna cover that in this video. So anyways, let's put it on right now. Okay, so basically here it is. All we're gonna do is we're gonna put a little bit of Vaseline on all these O-rings, all of them, and then we're just gonna basically slide that in there. The fuel lines are gonna go on this side, and they clip in underneath here. There's a spot for them to go through, and then we're gonna run them down and connect them. Okay, let me put this on right now. All right, so we got the fuel rail in, as you can see. All we're gonna have to do is put bolts here, one there to tie it down, right? There's a plug on top of it. So remember this little plug that I was talking about earlier, just a second ago, right? So that's just gonna go over here like that. See what I mean? And then this plugs into that. Okay, I'm gonna set all this up. All right, so there it is, all hooked up nice. The fuel rail is in. So now there's two plugs up here. I labeled mine. Unfortunately, they both fit, but I noticed one wire is longer than the other wire, see? So the longer one goes to this one, the shorter one goes to this one. So I'm gonna plug those in, and then once those are plugged in, just to speed things up, we're gonna put this thing on. This just goes on right there, nothing to it, 2 bolts. So I'll put that on, and then there's a plug-in on top, which is right here. Comes off of this thing. So I'm just gonna plug in. Okay, I'm doing both those things right now. All right, so we got that fuel rail on. We got this thing attached, see? Just the way I said. Everything's looking good there. I plugged both these in. So this wire is longer than this one. So it kind of makes sense where they go. One more thing you gotta plug in is right here. See, there's a plug. See right there, there's like a Y. So that plug goes in there. So we'll be plugging that in a minute. And the next thing we're gonna do, guys, is these 2 fuel lines. So I disconnected mine at the bottom. Of course, I labeled which one goes where. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run these down right underneath here. I can't really get in there, but right underneath, like literally underneath, there's this little plastic clip thing that these gas lines run through underneath there. So you're gonna put them through it, run them down, and then I'll show you guys, like once I have it all connected, I'll show you which gas line goes where underneath in case you mixed yours up. One's a return line and one's a feed line, right? So you can't get these on backwards. Okay, so I'm gonna run all that, hook that up, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I ran the gas lines. Let me just show you here. It honestly took me probably about 25 minutes. See, so they run down there. See, they hook into like the dipstick had these like things on it. They're hooked up here, and they go down there, right? So on this here, it's hard to see, but so there's two lines right here. Let me get in here. So the top one, this one here, the top one, not the bottom one. So the top one, I will show you at the bottom which line it connects to. Okay guys, so that is the front of the car. There's your wheels, right? Right over here is your two gas lines. See what I mean? 1 and 2. So the top line on top that I showed you on here, it's the bottom one of the two. So you got this one here. See, and I got it running. I guess it's impossible to show you guys. So it's this bottom one. See how there's 2, 1, 2? The bottom one is the top one up top. Okay guys, so the gas lines are hooked up. Everything's looking good. I think I'm gonna wrap this video up. Let me just show you what's left really quick, and I'm wrapping it up. So as far as all the vacuums and connections, I basically got you guys covered. There's one more thing that I wanna mention. So this thing, these are notorious for breaking. I actually have a video just about this. I show you how to make your own that will never break out of like Napa materials for like 20 bucks. See, this will never break. So anyways, so that goes, you have to put this under there. It connects into that thing, right? It plugs in, you gotta put a clamp on it, right? And then it hooks into this. If you got a vacuum cleat on it, it's not gonna work good. So that's basically the last thing. You know, all this stuff is pretty straightforward. You're gonna put this thing on, right? And then plug it in, then you're gonna put that on, then your air box, which we're putting back on because somebody put a cold air intake on. The wiper stuff's pretty straightforward. You put that cover on, you know, you hook everything up, put your wipers on. I can't put everything in the video, guys. So thanks for watching Problem Solver Garage, guys. Let me know in the comments if this video was too detailed or not. I'm actually kind of curious. Next episode, I'm doing the electrical. So I got to do the computer for the manual swap. There's a chip you got to take out, reverse lights, safety neutral switch. So that should be one episode, I think. And also we got to bleed the clutch still. That's going to be another episode. Thanks for watching Problem Solver Garage. Till next time, everybody.